In this session, we will discuss about atomic transactions in distributed systems. Now, when one process announces that it wants to begin a transaction with one or more other processes, then they negotiate on various options like creating, deleting objects, and performing operations for a while. Then the initiating process makes an announcement that it wants all the others to commit themselves to the work done so far. If all of them agree, the results are made permanent. If even a single process refuses, then the situation reverts to exactly the state it was before the transaction begins. We start our discussion with stable storage. First, we have the ordinary RAM memory, which is wiped out when the power fails or a machine crashes. Next, we have the hard disk storage, which survives CPU failures, but which can be lost in case the disk head crashes. And finally, we have the stable storage. Now, this stable storage is similar to the RAID structure, which is designed to survive anything except major calamities such as floods and earthquakes. Now, stable storage can be implemented with a pair of ordinary disks as shown in figure A. Each block on drive 2 is an exact copy of the corresponding block on drive A. When a block is updated, first the block on drive A is updated and verified, and then the same block on drive 2 is updated. Now suppose that the system crashes after drive 1 is updated. So here, let's assume that drive 1 is updated. Here, the updation is A dash. After the updation, this drive crashes before drive 2 is updated. Now upon recovery, that is upon the recovery of drive A, this disk will be compared block by block with drive 2. Whenever two corresponding blocks differ, it can be assumed that drive 1 is correct one, because drive 1 is always updated before drive 2. So the new block is copied from drive 1 to drive 2. When the recovery process is complete, both the drives will be identical again. Now, another potential problem is the dust particles or general wear and tear can give a previously valid block a sudden checksum error without causing a warning, as shown in this figure. So here there is a checksum error. When such an error is detected, the bad block can be regenerated from the corresponding block on the other drive. Now moving towards transaction primitives. Programming using transaction requires special primitives that must either be supplied by the operating system or by the language runtime. For example, we have these transactions like begin transaction, end transaction, abort a transaction, perform a read operation and write operation. So begin transaction marks the start of a transaction, whereas end transaction terminates the transaction and tries to commit. Abort transaction will kill the transaction and restore the database to the older values. Now let's assume that you want to book an air ticket from White Plains to Malindi. So White Plains is in US and Malindi is in Kenya. So to move from White Plains to John Kennedy International Airport, you have to book a flight. Then from New York, that is John Kennedy International Airport, to Nairobi, you have to book another flight, and then from Nairobi to Malindi, the third flight. So this entire transaction will be complete if all these are successful. So if you are able to book a ticket here, here and here, the entire transactions will be a success. So we begin with the reservation for all the separate flights as 3 different actions. So we make use of the transaction primitives. We begin with the transaction, reserve a flight from White Hills to John Kennedy Airport. Then from John Kennedy Airport to Nairobi, and then finally Nairobi to Malindi. And then we end the transaction. Now suppose that the first 2 flights have been reserved. So we are done with the reservation from White Plains to John Kennedy Airport, from John Kennedy to Nairobi Airport. But the third one cannot be booked. That is, you are not getting reservation from Nairobi to Malindi. So in that case, you have to end this transaction and revert back to the original state. So now in this case, what happens is the entire transaction is aborted and the results of the first 2 bookings are undone. That means the airline database is restored to the value it had before the transaction started. The database moves to a state as if nothing had happened. So basically, when we talk about transactions, transactions have 4 essential properties. They are A, C, I, D, where A stands for atomicity, C stands for consistency, isolation, and durability. So what is this atomicity, or what are these atomic transactions? Now when we talk about atomic, to the outside world, the transaction happens indivisibly. This property ensures that each transaction either happens completely or not at all. And if it happens in a single indivisible instantaneous action. Moving towards the next property, that is consistency. Now the transaction does not violate system invariance. This property says that they are consistent. What this means is that if the system has certain invariants, they must always hold. If they are held before the transaction, they will also hold after the transaction too. For example, in a banking system, a key invariant is the law of conservation of money. After an internal transfer, the amount of money in the bank must be the same as it was before the transfer. We move towards the next property, that is isolation. Now this property says that the transactions are isolated or they are serializable. So basically, concurrent transactions do not interfere with each other. Now what it means is that if 2 or more transactions are running at the same time, to each of them and to other process, the final result looks as though all transactions ran sequentially in some order. And then finally, the last property, that is durability. Once the transaction commits, the changes are permanent. It refers to the fact that once a transaction commits, no matter what happens, the transaction goes forward and the results become permanent. No failure after the commit can undo the results or cause them to be lost. Now moving towards nested transactions. Now transaction may contain sub-transactions, often called as nested transactions. So we have a nested transaction over here. The top level transaction may fork of children that run in parallel with one another or different processes to gain performance or simply programming. Each of these children may further execute one or more sub-transactions. When any transaction or sub-transaction start, it is conceptually given a private copy of all objects in the entire system for it to manipulate as it wishes. If it aborts, its private universe just vanishes as if it had never existed. But if it commits, its private universe replaces the parent's universe. So if a sub-transaction commits and then later a new sub-transaction is started, the second one sees the result produced by the first one.